So yeah, welcome to TCC Talks, Volume 2. This is just our second session. And today we're going to be talking to Meera Mistry, who is a producer on our books. So I just want to thank Meera really for spending. I know she's got a very busy schedule at the moment, but thank you so much for taking the time to kind of chat with us and talk through your experience as a freelancer. Hopefully, kind of some of the things that we cover will help anybody either already in the industry or looking to get into the industry. Some of you may have seen our previous talk with Nick, who is a motion graphics designer on our books, and that is on YouTube if you haven't seen that, and you can always catch up there. But really, it's just a chance for, this talk came about because Amy, myself, and Tom. So Amy is our talent manager, and she'll be interviewing Meera today. And then Tom Murphy is our marketing executive as well. And we sort of curated the TCC Talks together. But it came about because we've been to a few, broadcast tech shows and media talks and things like that, and we sort of felt that there was a bit of a lack of conversation happening for people who are already in the industry and explaining their journey, if you like. And in the broadcast tech show, I think they were interviewing a sound designer at the time, and she was in the industry, and she was sort of talking about her journey and saying that you need role models. And so we felt, well, we've got all this amazing talent on our books, why not get them to start talking about their journeys and how they've got into the industry themselves. So anyway, that's kind of that in a small-ish nutshell. I'll let Amy continue from here and start the talk. And we've got questions at the end, so please do feel free to write in the chat box if you have any questions at all, and we'll try and get time to answer that towards the end of the talk. It should only be about half an hour or so. All right, thank you, guys.
Amazing, thanks Laura. Yes, so we have the amazing Meera here with us today, who is a producer in broadcast television, and we're going to talk to her today all about her journey and any challenges she's faced. And yeah, it's just an opportunity for Meera to have a platform really where she can talk about her career, and hopefully some of it will resonate with some of you, and yes, maybe spark some questions that you might have about either getting into the industry or maybe you're there already. And yeah, Meera is just a really, really great person for us to showcase today, because she's got so much experience. She can put her hand to anything. And yes, that's why we invited her here today. So we're really, really pleased that she was able to join us. So Meera, thank you so much. I guess the best place to start really is, do you want to give us a kind of overview of your role, and maybe talk about the different roles that you've taken on your journey to get to a producer? Because I know, like a lot of people, it can often start with being a runner and maybe doing some logging, transcribing, which I know you've done a lot of, and then perhaps moving into researcher, AP, and then producer roles. That's usually the kind of journey people take, but for some it can be different. So yeah, if you could maybe just tell us a little bit about how you got to being a producer today.
It was a long what was I going to say? Sorry. It was a long journey. So basically it took time. I went to London, I got into uni. It was during that crazy 2012 year when the Olympics was on. The fees went up. I didn't think I'll get in. I did an English degree because I thought writing was important. What's my first language? Pretty much is English. I think the way I got in was I just cold called for 3 months about at least 30 production companies in London, and then until I got something. And I use Talent Manager. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of like TV, LinkedIn basically, and I just was on there all the time. Just this new website, I think it's kind of newish, was then, and like to find out where people are hiring and things like that, and to find out. So yeah, and then I just plugged my way in. It was dailies. literally I would travel to Cardiff for a day just to work on like Casualty to like London. I'd pay for my own ticket and I'd go to London for the day from Midlands where I'm from, and I'll just do like crazy things like that. And then it developed, and then I think the more and more I talked to people, it took at least 2 years to get established. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. Didn't go through any schemes, didn't know anyone, didn't have any family in it. Everyone's against it in my family. The school I went to, no one. They were all it was all traditional. All it was lawyer, doctor, dentist, optometrists, pharmacists. That's all they cared about in my sixth form. So to go away from that was quite a difficult transition. I brought up in a bit of a bubble, you see. So so that's how I progressed. And the AP only came out because I was literally only AP because of the film that I made with my amazing director, cinematographer, colorist, editor, LGBT activist, everything. Just he's all in one with Matt. And yeah, because people watched that, then they turned at me like, well, you're an AP now because you've done that, you produced that. So that's how it kind of transitioned quicker than I thought. And then being part of the BFI, I winged that. I don't know, I applied on the deadline. Don't do that. I applied it in 20 minutes and I got in.
Oh wow!
The creative produce school, like they had over 200 applicants. It was for the northern sector as well, and I only lived there for a few months, so I kind of like scrape by being northern.
Oh, amazing! I think we'll touch on that in a minute because it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting looking at sort of what maybe sort of crutches you have that can kind of help you get in. But I guess just going back to, so you talked about so did you start off as a runner? Is that
started as an office runner, then I did loads on daily, so I did every genre. So I did like Casualty, I did Doctors, and then I was just trying to break into the BBC. So I worked at a camera rental shop, worked at Arabic News Channel for 4 months, learned Arabic, don't speak Arabic, don't know it anymore, but like this is how much. And it was during Ramadan, so it was like the most religious time in the world, but they're making a studio, so it was mental time, but it was good. But yeah, like I tried to break into the BBC, and I only got into the BBC because I called BBC Glasgow, because I called all the hubs in the UK, and Glasgow was the only one that would hire me, and I was their regional runner.
And where were you based from there? Sorry. Where were you based at this point? Were you in London?
I was in London, but I called Glasgow to get dailies, like 1-day jobs and stuff. And
I was going to say, with dailies, some of the people watching might not know the terminology.
Just 1 day.
Okay.
1 day. You literally just work 1 day, and then that's it. You just been and gone. You're there for like less than 10 hours or whatever. So that's
dailies. You apply as a kind of runner, and then they keep you in a pool of people that they can pull you on to dailies, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more for because of the budget reasons. That as a runner, you're just literally employed to help with the camera kit, but not setting up, just literally just carrying it, to be honest. I learned how to carry equipment on my body. So I'm very hench, of course, but yes. It gets better though after that.
Like you said about being at school, and it was, being in a family where they expected you to perhaps have a more traditional role. What made you, I guess, want to work in TV?
TV. I think one of my friends or something was like, what do I do in my spare time? I was like, I grew up watching, the TV was on like 24/7. I was like, I watch so much TV, it would be cool to work on it. But then I was like, I didn't know how to get in. So I thought, if I do an English degree, then at least I can write later on and stuff. So I just thought, I think that's always I always been fascinated with the media. I wanted to do radio first. I went through the stages. So I worked for my local paper when I was 16, 17. And then it was like the financial crash stuff going on. So I was like, okay, allow that. And then radio, but the radio community too small. And then I thought maybe TV would be better.
Is
I just
well,
kind of went through in my head, like from 17 to like 18, 19 or something. That's what I thought.
Okay, amazing. Fantastic. And then, yeah, I want to sort of talk to you sort of a bit more about how you really got those jobs, and then how you kind of developed, you know, towards being an AP. But I guess maybe just coming back to your job now that you do.
Yeah.
Do you want to sort of let us know what your kind of daily routine is like as a freelance producer? Because I guess one of the perks of being a freelancer is that you don't have a 9 to 5 office-based job. And I know that that was
the window, that is.
And yeah, I know that you said that was something that was another thing that was really appealing to you, which is why you wanted a job in the media rather than you know, something that was more office-based. So do you want to maybe talk about a week in the life of Meera, and you know, if you've got a day
here? Life for me. Make a lot of curry, make so much Indian food and Korean and Japanese. I cook so much. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow. How do you have time?
I make time for good food. If I don't eat good food, I'm in a crap mood. So I love cooking, so I'll do anything to make nice food. And then and just emails, live, breathe emails. I get text messages. It's just maybe getting back to everyone. I don't know when my day starts really. It's more because after yoga, I do yoga in the morning, so I try to 3 times a week in the morning. So it's more like after like 9ish, and it just depends really, because right now I'm doing dailies. I work on 1-day shoots at the moment. So, but when I'm on a stint, let's say like a 3-month contract with a company, that'll be more rigid. That's more 9 to 5. So then I go food shopping before like 10 o'clock, come back, be on the Zoom meeting and try put my Zoom on and off and put the shopping away at the same time. And then if I'm doing casting calls, I'll be on my Bluetooth and do my washing, like my clothes washing and stuff. I do 2 in 1. That's how I do everything, because a lot of my work's been remote since after the pandemic, not been back on shoots yet. So yeah, it just really depends. I think it's more like catch everyone on never catch anyone on Monday, because they're just all depressed, to be honest. Like, just not I shouldn't use that word, but they're all a bit sad. So like, just catch everyone Tuesday. You go hear back everyone from Thursday, and then Friday they're screaming at you. So it's more like Tuesday and Thursdays are very important days. Wednesday and Friday, just be like, yeah, I've got it done essentially yesterday, so they can't chase you. And that's my general week. And then trying to catch up with my family and seeing when I'm going back, when I'm going to see my family and all that kind of stuff. It's just mental, but like, I'll figure it out. It's really various. I don't know how to sum it up anymore. It's just a lot of cooking though. It's amazing.
Well, I guess a lot of cooking. I love that. Yes, it's good to prioritise the things in life that make you happy, not just work. So I'm really
but I love my work. Like, I moan about it, but everyone that's in like normal kind of jobs, or not normal, but like recruitment, or like, I don't know, work at a stationery shop and stuff, it's just like they live for the weekend. So, but my weekends are sacred, so it's kind of like I fit in the week the fun stuff. The weekend can be like just to like recover, or just like chill out. It's all like going hardcore. Oh yeah, let's go out.
Yeah. And I guess when you're on an ongoing job, you kind of, as you say, have a bit of a routine. You know, on Monday you can maybe, you know, get on with emails and stuff, or schedule some calls, and then you know, Wednesday you're dealing more with your core team. It's interesting you're working remotely as well as being able to go into the office, which is great. But I guess as well, when you are then finishing a contract or coming to the end of a contract, how do you manage your time throughout the year in terms of taking breaks for yourself? Because obviously as a freelancer you don't get paid holiday and things like that. Do you spend the whole time? I know I used to do that when I was a freelance producer. I'd be worrying in the break about the next contract when I should have just been able to relax, but it's quite hard too. So
I'm just trying to basically I would get towards the end of the contract and then I'll probably maybe plan a holiday and stuff. But I've been starting going on holiday recently. Or what I do is what I used to do, I'll do a really long stint, get in the middle of it because I know I'm going to get bored at some point because it's not what I want to do, and then text one of my friends like, can you cover me for 2 weeks or a week, get them on board and just say I'm going on holiday next week, tell them to cover it, and then I'll come back on the contract. That's what I used to do. So it's a really clever way because I'll tell the production coordinator is the person that sorts everything out, not the PM, it's more the production coordinator. PM means production manager. It's kind of like the boss, and then the production coordinator is like the kind of like production assistant, kind of office assistant vibes. But yeah, that's what I used to do. But now it's kind of like in between, go on holiday, but then after the holiday or before, I'll set all those emails up to apply for the next job. So it's quite hard to line one up after your holiday. You're naturally going to have a gap. So you just end up being poor, but you just deal with it. And then you just get a job and you're like, oh, fine again. This works out anyway. Do you know what I mean? You just get used to being poor in between the contracts. And now I'm trying to fill up with dailies so 1 day jobs with something else. So when I can fill it up, do a few days here and there, and then start a new contract. That's what I'm trying to do now, which I haven't done for a long time because of, like, this is just massive gaps between my long contracts at the moment. So
would you say you prefer the longer contracts to the daily?
Yeah, I do. I prefer the longer contracts so I can work out my year, basically, because I'm trying to work abroad at the moment, so I'm trying to work that out at the moment, which is really difficult because getting things signed off and trying to do your part-time, and then you're trying to find a good stint of work, and then trying to see your family, and then trying to see your other half, and it's kind of like, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And they're 4 hours ahead, and you're like, send an email at 7, and then that's like lunchtime for them, and they have lunch for like 2 hours. So, do you know what I mean?
I guess that's the other thing as well, isn't it? Is what can be one of the cons, I guess, working in the media can be the long days. So, which is why it's so important to take a break, because sometimes when you're on a job, it's quite difficult to get time to go back and see your family and see your loved ones. So, I was listening to another talk recently who said that we should really be encouraging freelancers to, in that break, really try and dedicate some time to your loved ones and
That's what I try and do so much. I try and see like my nephew, for example, or my cousins and stuff, in the daytime, and then like or I come at lunch time and then till the afternoon, or if I need to do things, I do it in the morning. I wake up early and stuff. I mean, because I'm trying to find a pattern and when people reply to emails. So it's either 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. usually.
No, really?
Well, I'm trying to figure out a pattern. I really like finding patterns on people replying. And what I've done as well, you can always schedule emails. You write all the emails in the world and do it at 10 o'clock at night and get it all sent off in the morning so you don't have to worry about it. So try and do that as much as possible.
I think that's a really great tip. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, try and do that. And sending anything before 8:30, you're like hardcore emailer. If you schedule it for before 8:30, they'll be like, well, at least it looks like you've woken up early, but you sent it at like 11 o'clock at night. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. Using Outlook to your advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And you can do it on text messages as well, which is amazing. And I like that.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing actually.
It's like, especially for your mum, like, when they always say like, oh, tell me when you get home safe. So you predict the hour when you're going to get home, so you schedule it for that time.
Oh my goodness!
But don't do that, kids. It's not a good idea.
No, I'm definitely going to use that.
Don't do it. I probably won't. If you're a teenager, don't do it. But when you're like 25, that's fine.
Amazing. And then, yeah, I think then just going back to your journey into the industry.
Yeah.
So went to university, studied English,
Yeah.
and then just hustled and just
Hustled
emailed as many people as you could. I know that you were calling around.
Yeah. And calling literally, like, I'll just sing. I was singing to people just to talk to me or something. I'm not lying. Or just say like, I just made some Indian food. Do you want some? Or do you want some sweet? Or something. I have some sort of bribe.
Bribery.
Basically, yeah.
No, but that's an amazing testament to you, because like you mentioned, you didn't have any contacts in the industry, or a helping hand. So it works when you just really want something bad enough. It does pay off. And I guess you've done a mix of things. So there's various roles, obviously, in the editorial side of TV. So as you mentioned, in the kind of more production side is, your production manager with the production coordinator, production secretary underneath. You do deal with a lot more of the logistics, and then the kind of more creative editorial roles would be your producer, director roles. But within producing, you've done casting, and you've done transcribing and logging,
translating even as well.
Translating. So what would that entail? Sort of logging and translating.
So I started off with translating first, so Gujarati, because that's like mother tongue kind of. It's probably a bit. If my family here, they'll be like, "No, Meera, don't speak Gujarati whatsoever." But it'd be like spoken, so like this, to English. I'll do subtitles I'll sit with an editor and do it for the Discovery Channel. So I did it for Body Bazaar, I did it for 24 Hours A&E. I think I did like a couple of series of them both. And like I really had to, it was more than just translating, because Gujarati is quite a blunt language. It's really blunt language, and it's quite short. So there's nothing, we don't have adjectives as much. So, and it just explained the culture, like especially Hinduism, because it boggles people, like why, like some reasons why they don't do surgery, and like who's in charge, or this kind of thing. And then it kind of led on to transcribing English to English. So I'll just listen to files and things like that. And then it got more and more, I kind of got used to it. And then they implemented loads of like software that kind of does it for you. And then it was a good like part-time job and things. I think I learned about editing so much, and about it helped me for my documentary, because I know what gets cut out, I know what looks good, I know what the camera, and I used to hear about all the people talking, because a camera guy or woman would have their camera on saying, "Oh, can you put the light there, can you move that curtain," and this, that and the other. And I kind of learned that in the past 4 years. It's such a slagged off, it is really slagged off, logging, transcribing, but it's so good. If you just do a couple and you listen to the rushes raw, you understand how TV works, because you're there but you're not there. And I feel like all that crappy part at the beginning of before you interview is so important for you to know how to set up a shot, how to do lights, and how to put a microphone on. You'll see it in the video, they're putting a microphone on, and see the rustling. You'll be able to hear it and why it's rustling. Is it a bra? Is it a top? Is it a jumper? Is it their hair? Is it their earrings?
Oh, that's really interesting. But
really, I think it's so valuable to do logging. It's so dissed upon, but like it's so important.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's one of those roles that people think, "Oh God, it's so repetitive, and I'm just going to be sat typing out the show all day."
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's such an interesting point.
That's what I learned anyway. But that's how I did that. But I think with the translating, that's just me teaching about my culture, about my religion, Hinduism and stuff like that. So I feel like that knowledge is just second nature to me, and I forget people don't know about Hinduism. They have no clue. Like it's just second knowledge to me. It's like knowing about, I don't know, like British things like fish and chips. Like explain fish and chips to someone, it's just like you just take that for granted, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's amazing. And I guess, do you want to touch a little bit on casting as well, for people that might not know what a casting researcher is or a casting producer does?
So casting what I do in casting is kind of like you're literally on the phone like this, and you're finding people for TV shows, but it depends on the commission and producer of like what they want. It's kind of like finding someone that's really different or specific, but everyone in the team or the other AP assistant producers or casting researchers will have their own access to different communities. That's how I class it as. So like for me, mine would be LGBT plus community. I have that special access. So that's why they will hire me. While someone else might have access to loads of pregnant ladies. I don't know, like for example, I might go to like a pregnant class
Is that
or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I guess if you've worked on certain types of show, like if you've worked on 24 Hours in A&E and One Born Every Minute, then you're likely to maybe get casting roles on similar shows because you've tapped into that community.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's I think that's it. Really, I think it's just with casting, it's kind of like it's a lot of like spreadsheets, finding people's details, and you've really got to be good on the phone, and you've really got to chat to death with them for like at least 45 minutes until they say yes. And it's a lot of trust and thingies. And if you can relate to everyone on some sort of level, if they're Hindu, I'll talk about Hinduism. If they're 20 something, I'm 20 something, I can tell them about being in their 20s. If you lived in Bristol, I can talk about when I lived in Bristol. Do you see what I mean? If you find that common ground straight away, find that out. And you've got to know how to be good. You got to be stalker, and you got to be super nosy. If you're not stalker or nosy or really good at like finding things really easily, because I'm really good at finding people's numbers. Like I'm like a weirdo, but in a good way. Like just for jobs and stuff. But like I can find people's numbers very, very easily, but with their permission. But yeah, that makes sense. But like things like that, I can find it out. I can put a picture together when I talk to them on the phone. It's like, oh yeah, like in Bristol it was the cheese day yesterday. Did you go to it? And then they'd be like, oh yeah, it was cheese day. I did see it through my window. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you find that common ground to it's kind of a mix of like being able to find common ground with people, but also using your investigative skills.
You probably know anyway because you've done it before and stuff. So yeah,
amazing. But yeah, thank you for talking that through. And then I guess being on location as well. So do you shoot? How did you learn to shoot?
So on location, you start with carrying everything, then you learn what everything is, and then you start doing. I've done a little bit of shooting. It's more like GV, so that means general review. So you know when you watch, let's say you're on me right now on shoot, like when they're filming, they'll probably like turn it to like a building or a duck. You see loads of ducks on the TV. I don't know why, ducks and water. British people just love that sort of pictures. But yeah, they always like put ducks in the picture and then you go back to my face. It's kind of that kind of stuff I used to learn. I learned it with the producer director, which is kind of like all in one because it's low budget TV. So it's a producer director and does camera and the sound. It's kind of like all in one sort of situation. And more, I just learned like that. I did it on the tripod first, but it was more when I got the opportunity, and you have to ask. You can't just do it and stuff. But it's not my forte. I did it for my film, like for the pride and for prides and stuff. You know, when everyone's like dancing, celebrating and things. But
you decided not to go fully down the shooting producer.
Yeah, because what I found is, you got to find where the gaps are in the market. There's loads of shooting people. There's so many people that want to shoot. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Otherwise, I won't get a job. So if I steer away from that, if I bring up my writing, there's not enough people that can write well or cast well or things like that. So that's why as well. And I'm not really techie. I blag it, but I'm not super techie.
Yeah, and you've got to play to your strengths, right? That's, you know.
Yeah, for sure as well. And there's so many shooting assistant producers. There's like 1 trillion. So if you're going to go down that route, good luck to you. Because there's 1 trillion. You'll be fighting, to be honest, more than me. So right now.
Yeah, it's a very competitive industry, and yeah, in a moment actually we'll watch your amazing My God, I'm Queer film that you produced, which is your passion project.
Thank you.
But we'll show a clip of that. But yeah, I guess I just quickly sort of to finish off, it is a competitive industry, and you know, what would you say are the main challenges you faced along the way, would you say?
Oh, I think it's just every day, to be honest. Like, I think it's, you got to get used to rejection. I've probably still not used to it till now. I've been in the industry for 7 years, but you got to have a thick skin. You've got to be flexible. If you really want to stay in the industry, you really got to know how to be flexible. And then basically, before you get in industry, see what your quality of life is now, and predict what your quality of life would be when you're in the industry. If 12 hours is gone of your day for 5 days a week, would you be happy or not? Kind of like think about in that aspect as well, and always have a backup plan. So my backup was waitressing, because 0-hour contract, or see if I can, and don't live out straight away. If you live at home, rinse it while you can. Like, don't move out. I was so slow. Like I moved out, but moved about for the job. So I never moved out for a whole year, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
And I think, yeah, just kind of like partial rent. If you're going to go to like London, just do it for a month and then come back to your hometown if you're not from London. If you're from London, you're fine. You guys are fine. Sorry, I'm going to be biased. You guys are fine. You can definitely live, you can live for free at home, most of you guys. But yeah, I would do that. And I think the main thing was just be patient. And it's really hard. You got it. We get so many emails, still getting it now, not enough experience. So you just got to work out where to find that experience, or do something on the side that maybe it's not the experience, but say, I've done this abroad, like I'm doing something abroad, I'm going to come back from that and be like, I've just done this, so I'm better now. So hire me. you know what I mean? So, and I think if you really want to be in the industry, really think about why you want to be in the industry. Not because it's cool, not because it's glamorous, not because of celebrities, not because of the money, not because of the lifestyle or whatever. Think about it, why you want to do it, and see if you want to give back to other people as well, because that's why I kind of went into it. When can I give back to people?
Do you mean that as in like you have a platform to then make content?
Yeah, the platform and stuff. I mean, I find it really hard because I'm South Asian. I'm not from London. I'm not from Manchester. I've got no contacts in it. I didn't come through a scheme. I didn't do a media degree. I had 4 rejections, like, or 3 or 4 rejections from uni. Got into 1 during the fees went up in 2012. Like, you know, I managed to get in somehow. Don't know how, but like, you really gotta stand out. And I have a cool name, luckily, so I just like bang on about my name for people to hire me. And I get a bit crazy on my subject emails as well. So I try to like mix it up, saying, instead of like saying CV 2022, like I just put like things like, I make good Indian food, I'll bring Indian sweets in, hire me because I'm cool, or hire me because I can bring free food for you, or like something ridiculous, or your company's name sounds well cool, I'll put it up with your name. Like, you know, do you know what I mean? You have to rethink outside the box. That's this. Still do this till now. I've been doing that for about 5 years.
It works.
It somehow works, but and yeah, and really don't be judgmental if, because the thing is, I work in the north and I work in London, and just they're always fighting, but they're different territories. You have to. The northern way is different to the southern way. It's just straight there. It's just different, because the northern lot just know the northern companies. London lot just know the London companies. That's the way it is. They don't care what you do in Manchester. They don't care what the London don't care what you do in Manchester. London doesn't care what you do. Like, do you know what I mean? In either way, so just accept that. That's what I found, and I was like, talk about Manchester, like they don't care. They really don't care.
No, it's such a shame. I know
it's such a shame. There's no mix whatsoever. London told me not to work in Manchester. Manchester told me not to work in London.
Wow, that's crazy.
My CV's mixed, so it's really like confusing to people.
Well, it's amazing that you've managed to smash both areas, I guess.
Oh, it was by accident, guys. Okay, BBC told me a job. They didn't tell me it was in Manchester 4 years ago, and then that's why I got stuck there. No, but in a good way. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. Really check where the jobs are. Don't accept a job unless you know the location, because they're like, oh, can you start on Monday at 2? And like, you just think everything's in London, don't you, right? And it was like, no, it's in Manchester. I was like, okay, I've got 2 days to move. But yeah.
That's amazing. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, all right, that's what I recommend.
Right, we're going to play a clip now from your film that you made, which was played out on Channel 4, I think, on their sort of Storyville, or the
it was not Storyville, it was through the Iris Prize, which we were in the top 15 and we won 2 awards for it, and we just won the best TV show of 2021 as well.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Right, well, let's have a little watch.
The consequences in Pakistan, being found to be in a relationship with the same-sex person, your life would be at risk and you would be killed.
I don't want to lose my life, and I don't want to die.
Matt Hogston is still struggling with the loss of the man he was due to marry. Dr. Naz Mahmood took his own life in July, days after telling his family he was gay.
And telling people that it is okay for you to be Muslim and for you to be gay. Shame, 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 shame.
We have to do something to try and stop this from happening ever again.
My name is Amir Dean. I identify as a gay man of South Asian descent, and I live in West Yorkshire.
Hi, and I'm his husband.
Hello.
Hey.
Wow, gosh, that was really emotional. I found that really emotional. I'm sure a lot of you guys did as well. But yeah, it's so great that you found the time in between, your work in TV to create something, a project that meant a lot to you. And wow, I'm not surprised you've won 2 awards for it, because it's really, really incredible. And yeah, I guess shall we maybe take some questions now? I think I saw quite a few coming through, which is amazing. You guys.
Oh, that's good. I don't know what I'm going to say. Sorry. I'll try my best.
Thank you both so much. Meera, thank you so much for sharing your account as a freelancer. I feel like it was such an honest, approach to it.
Yeah.
What we want, we want that honesty, because it's not always easy, like you say, and you have worked incredibly hard. I remember meeting you a few years ago to join our books, and I thought, this person is so dedicated to their role, and you, even then, I could see the passion, in your eyes, and I love it because you haven't sugarcoated anything.
No, I'm too truthful. I get told off for telling the truth too much.
No, it's great. You don't hear it enough sometimes, and I think it will hopefully benefit so many people, because people might only see. It's a bit like Instagram, isn't it? You only see the best bits of people's lives. I don't see the struggle behind everything. And actually, you've really given us a very balanced viewpoint of, you love your job, but oh my goodness, it's been difficult to get there. And you've done amazingly well. And we're super proud to have you representing you at the Korean company. And we know that you're always doing projects, and just a few. I felt like you gave some amazing tips for anybody already online, and I think one of them in particular was the reason why you're getting into TV, and I thought that was such an interesting point to really think about the why. And it almost sounds like you've reached your goal in a way, and I'm sure you've got lots more goals ahead of you and lots more to do and lots more to say and think about. But the fact that you've created a film like this as well, My God, I'm Queer, and that is your part of your giving back, I imagine, and you're creating that voice for people.
For sure.
Don't necessarily have it, and it was really moving. Again, really moving bit of footage. You can see why you won the award as well. So the other bits were balancing quality of life. I love the fact that you make time for cooking. I think even Nick said that good food equals good mood, and I feel like that is so important, and that's a real key takeaway, I think, to create that time to do things.
No one thinks about that. Everyone's like, oh yeah, like do yoga or go to the gym or whatever, and I'm just like, no, it's mine's cooking, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But I think it's so great that we're sort of very lucky in some ways nowadays that we do get to have more of a balanced life. And I love the honesty of like doing things whilst on Bluetooth and getting your washing done, trying to do two things at once. That's all great, because we're living in that time now where there are certain things you can overlap, and obviously there are times, I imagine, where you really dedicate your time and you're focused on what's happening there as well. And I think just hearing things like that is, I think, great for people. So we did have one question. So from Nicholas, he said, do you get most of your job opportunities through connections or applications?
It's a bit of a weird one. So it's more like, send my CV, won't get the job, won't hear from them, and then they want me down later down the line. It's kind of more applying and stuff. It's through connections as well, if I worked with them before. But now I feel like as an AP, because I stepped up, it's literally from scratch. I literally have to like pester them to people to hire me, or make them watch my film, or like not make them, but like see if they heard of them. Hopefully, because it was on All 4 for like a whole year, so they did have access to it as well as on TV. But yeah, I just shout about LGBT and being South Asian a lot, so I just like bang on about that until they're like, yeah, I'll hire you.
Yeah, amazing. So it's a bit of a mixture then, some connections, and that's interesting to hear. And I think so many freelancers still experience that 10, 20 years into the industry. Some people do just have those continuous connections. They build up their client base and they are consistently booked. And then others, there might be times where they're reapplying for things because the industry's changed, or there's something, it might be a new area that they want to get into, or a new skill, and then they find themselves, I think that's an important thing to be mindful of, isn't it, as a freelancer, that the learning journey kind of never stops, and that's probably, and it seems for you, Meera, because you I imagine like a lot of variety by the sounds of the jobs that you've been on and working on. That's probably a nice thing. You're always kind of continuously readapting the way you work. Yeah. Okay. I don't think we had many other questions from. Oh, we've got another message. Oh, yeah, just a thank you from Nicholas.
Oh no, it's okay. No, that's fine. Like, sorry, I was reading the comments. I was being a bit nosy.
Not at all. And that was another thing, actually, that one of the tips that you said about being nosy, you know, and really doing your groundwork. And I think that's really important, and that's what we find as well. You know, for our anyone applying, you know, even if people apply to join the Cream Company, for example, we want to hear that people have read our blogs, that have, you know, delved into our website. And I think that's a good, really great way to kind of explain things. Get nosy, you know, start finding that common interest. So I just see a couple more questions. So Grace wanted to ask, how do you develop skills on the job beyond shadowing, picking up as you go along, but anything else like NFTs or screen skills, first aid?
First aid, definitely do that. I just renewed mine. I think that's really important. I don't know about film school. I didn't go there, so I have no clue. Screen skills is good. It only started good recently, so when I didn't hear about it until like 2 years ago, to be honest, like properly. So they're really good, and it's just learning on the job. I think just try and get on anything, like any kind of job, and then like just talking to people and just getting people's like contact details and stuff. And I learned on the job. I didn't do a media degree, so I have no clue any other way. And I think just there's so many schemes and workshops now, it's ridiculous, and I didn't have that. And I started uni 10 years ago, so I think just do a lot of research and see if that's money to be spent. Some of them are free, some of them are not, but I feel like you just need to go on a shoot. Just, you'll probably know someone of someone that's on a shoot. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, I don't know anyone. I bet you have to go through your whole contact list on your phone and like see you can talk to that auntie or uncle or someone, like, and stuff. And I used to used to walk around London, East London, a few years ago, and knock on everyone's door and like print out my CV. Can't do that now. I'm just ask for a job.
No, it was also, Meera, I just have to say, it's very kind of inspiring how you got into the industry, and I just love that you literally you left no stone unturned.
No, I would do everything. Like, it took me 3 months to get my office runner job. I called 30 plus companies from March until May. Started in June, July.
You really persevered. That's brilliant. And also, as just one sort of added thing to that, so the screen skills, I think Amy went to a talk one day, didn't you, Amy, where somebody suggested to just do every single free course that you can find online. So any free screen skills, like you say, Meera, they do so much more now, and so anything free like that, I would just go ahead and do it.
Just add it all. Just do it all. If you got the time, just bung it all on your CV. They love it. They all love that stuff.
Yeah, it's also because it shows proactiveness, doesn't it? I think, and that real interest that you're doing things outside of the job and in your own time, and you can print off certificates and things like that, so there's lots on there.
You need it for jobs anyway, do you know what I mean, if that makes sense?
Yeah, exactly. I've got a couple of other questions. So Damien's based in Sheffield, and most of his colleagues are based here, and go on about staying in the north. So do you think it's better to stay up in the north or move down south?
Okay, I'm from Midlands, so I'm like super divided.
Yeah.
So because what I did was went to London uni, because I didn't get into Manchester, unfortunately, at the time. So go to London for a bit, work there a little bit if you can, and then shut off London once you got your contacts, because most of them got northern offices. Then go up north, because you'll need London credits at some point or something. That's what I would do. And if you're in Sheffield, my friends created a hub there. My other half's actually in Sheffield right now. So I love Sheffield, by the way. But yeah, there's a new hub there. It's just open. It's got the cinema. It's in town. So if you don't know about that, go there, because my friends just opened an office there. It's called Eon Films. So I would go talk to Hugh at Eon Films.
Look, we love Hugh.
Yeah, he's like like one of my best friends. So I would just talk to Hugh. If you need anything, just talk to him. He'll be way more helpful than I am, and he's got more experience.
That's really great advice, though, Meera.
Don't move from Sheffield. Just stay there because he's not moving. I won't bother. Don't bother. I won't bother.
I think that's really great advice, and also I think, like you say, just testing out the waters, because at the end of the day, I suppose it's where you feel you're at home the most. If you go to London and you love London and you create some great connections there, you might want to stay there.
Yeah.
You find that in the north, and that's great too. Sorry, I'm sort of aware of time, and there's a few more questions. So, do you have any advice, Meera, for graduates who are getting ready to get into the industry? But I think that there's a double up question a bit, because resource that's from Alex.
I mean, it's February now, so if I was in my last year, I would have started looking at companies next month, because that's when I've handed in my last assignment, to ready for May, June time. So I wouldn't, but I don't know what people's schedules and stuff and assignments and all that kind of stuff, but I would start next month before the financial year, which is April.
That's brilliant advice, really brilliant advice. And then any advice for people who are struggling to get into the industry?
Just keep going, to be honest. And if you're struggling, I'm struggling too. Like, I'm not working every day. I've got to think about rent and family and, if I can buy a pint or not. But, I'm still getting by. So just keep going. If it's more competitive now and stuff, and no one really cares what degree you do. I think it's knowing the company itself. So every email you're gonna write why you love XO company. So like, why do you love Korean company? Why do you love their prospects, or no, whatever the word is?
Values.
What's that word saying?
Values.
Values, yeah. Why do you love their values and things like that? And saying, and you really, if you like that company, you got to write saying that I love watching so and so show on Channel 4 last night. It was really great. If you're just saying I want to work in TV, hire me, that's not enough. Yeah. And if you can find out people's names, that's when you need to be stalky. You need to find out people's names, first names and surnames.
That's also really good advice, Meera. Amazing. That sort of ties into another question from Tanya, who says, would you just get, so when you mentioned calling companies, would you just get the contact and call them, or perhaps email them or approach them through in another way first?
I would line up the email, call them. So you got the email ready to send them, because they're going to be like, send me an email. So you got it ready, send it straight away. And just do the whole thing like, oh, my emails are not working. Oh, can you just check? Because it's been a bit funny today. And then it just forces them to like look at it and receive it and just pretend. That's what I used to do all the time.
Great. Love that. Such an idea.
But try not to do it too much, they might clock on.
Yeah. No, that's really great advice. And then Tanya also mentioned, any advice working in London for an international student?
I'm not international. Born and raised here. I have no clue. I don't know what the international aspect means, but in London, I would before all the companies were in West. Now they're all gone to East, so you just might as well live in East. But it's well expensive to live there now. You've got all the companies used to be West London, but it's not anymore. It's in East, so you just got to go to East London and just walk around, find out the companies and things like that. And when you physically go to that office, see what the commute is like from wherever you are, and see how is it hour and a half, is it 2 hours? But I've kind of moved away from London, because London are trying to hire like remotely now and all that. So I don't know what the game is anymore, because I just do their remote jobs currently.
Yeah, it's difficult to find a pattern nowadays, isn't it? I think it's
basically as well. And I don't know about the international student thing. That's not my territory, to be honest. I'll ask someone else about
One thing I would say with that is, Tanya, I don't know where you are from, but language speaking skills is really sought after, I think, in London. And I think if you can utilise that, if you are bilingual, trilingual,
that's so important.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing. Yeah, so you're
from Delhi, India. Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
It's
really
crazy.
utilize that, and maybe if you haven't moved, I don't know if you've moved to London yet or not, but perhaps start doing the things that Meera has suggested, even wherever you're based at the moment, seeing who you can get in with, and because of the remote. Oh, you're studying here, amazing.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so I would say probably similar advice, and then utilize any extra language skills that you might have as well.
I think if you're from India, I'm guessing you speak Hindi, or I'm guessing you'll know Hindi. I don't know Hindi anyway, as well. But all the medical shows, they need people. So all the blue light series, so like 24 Hours in A&E, Body Bazaar, One Born Every Minute, all those medical shows, they need you. Like, allow every other genre, to be honest, because that's where the language skills come from the most.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, sorry to cut you off there, Meera. I'm just conscious of time because we've almost reached an hour, but that was so informative. I really feel that people would have gained a great deal from.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
No, sorry, I probably rambled on too much.
No,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. It's been, like I say, such an honest approach, and such an interesting approach too, because some of the things that you have used and like tactics, I suppose, you've used have been really insightful, and maybe not many people would think outside the box. And
no, they're going to get the jobs. I won't get it because everyone's using my tips. I might be like, I think I started that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, they were all brilliant, and just thank you so much for taking the time, and thanks to Amy and to Tom as well.
Thank you guys.
This video has been recorded, so if you wanted to rewatch it or share it with anybody, it will be on our YouTube channel.
You probably don't want to rewatch me. too much Meera time.
And lots of people are saying thanks so much, Meera, really honest, and you have some really good tricks up your sleeves. Thank you so much from Alex. So thank you so much again, Meera, and we'll be having another TCC Talks Volume 3 next month, so stay tuned for who that's going to be. But yeah, it's been really great, and thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to everybody for joining.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Meera. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.